Duane Allman, the legendary guitarist and co-founder of the Allman Brothers Band, is often remembered as one of the most influential slide guitarists in rock history, a musical genius whose soulful playing left a permanent mark on American music. But behind the acclaim, the soaring solos, and the iconic status, lies a story filled with heartbreak, inner conflict, and a troubled spirit that many fans never truly understood. Though he passed away tragically at the age of just 24, Duane lived a life packed with brilliance and shadows details that are rarely spoken of but reveal the depth of his personal struggles. Raised in the Deep South, Duane and his younger brother Greg faced hardship early in life when their father was murdered by a hitchhiker. That trauma left a permanent scar on both boys and fueled their music with an emotional depth that few could match. Duane, in particular, turned inward, burying his pain in hours of practice and obsession with the blues. By the time he was in his late teens, Duane had already played with several bands and earned a reputation for his unmatched intensity. But that same intensity also led him down darker paths. While Duane's guitar work became legendary, most notably his slide guitar solo on Layla with Eric Clapton, he was also battling deep inner turmoil. Friends and bandmates later admitted that Duane often pushed himself to extremes, chasing perfection in his playing and using drugs to cope with the pressure. Heroin, alcohol, and other substances became part of his daily life, as they were for many in the southern rock scene of the late 60s and early 70s. While his talent never diminished, those close to him worried about his well-being. He was known to disappear for days, isolated and unreachable, chasing inspiration or running from demons few understood. Perhaps the most troubling detail was how haunted Duane was by the fleeting nature of life. He often spoke about death, not in a dramatic way, but with a strange acceptance, almost as if he knew his time would be short. Bandmates would later recall eerie conversations where Duane seemed to sense that he was not meant to grow old. In interviews, he rarely made plans far into the future, instead living with a reckless urgency that defined his guitar playing and personal life alike. On October 29, 1971, that eerie intuition became reality when Duane was killed in a motorcycle accident in Macon, Georgia. He had swerved to avoid a truck and lost control, dying instantly. His death devastated the music world and left a gaping hole in the Allman Brothers Band, but many believe it was not just an accident of fate. It was the culmination of a life lived on the edge, with one foot in genius and the other in tragedy. Today, Duane Allman is celebrated for his musical gifts, but the darker truths of his life are equally important. They remind us that brilliance often comes at a cost, and that behind the most transcendent sounds can lie deeply troubled souls. His legacy endures not just because of how he played, but because of what he endured and the fire that burned too fast, too bright, and far too briefly.